Okay, I think we can get started. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, which is promoting innovation, employability, and entrepreneurship among the youths with a focus in Africa. We are happy to have you in the room today, and we're excited to start this partnership with HP LIFE, and we're going to learn more about it as we get along. So my name is Priscilla Gatonye. I'm the Program Officer for Inclusion and Youth, and I'll be taking you through the program. So quickly, we're going to have a 2-hour session. A lot of it is going to be presentations, it's going to be more informational discussions, as well as learning. So you're going to learn a little bit about entrepreneurship and what is expected of you during the few weeks that are going to follow when you pursue the HP LIFE Foundation. So allow me to take you through the house rules for today. Just for your information, just know that this session is going to be recorded. And I'm sure you have seen that already. Also, keep yourselves muted. And if you have any questions that you want to pose, we're going to use the Q&A function, which should be below the screen, which is the Zoom function for Q&A. We'll have a session towards the end of this webinar where we're going to answer most of those questions. So keep them coming. And if you have any additions that you want to do that is not a question, but a comment, you can always use the chat function that is also close to the Q&A function. For the participation, you are going to ask you some questions. So make sure that you actively engage with us so that we get to see what is your perspective and what you are thinking about. And most importantly, enjoy, because this program is for you and we are looking forward to participation and also engaging you for these 2 hours that we have. So without further ado, allow me to welcome our head of office, Mr. Friedrich Hubler, who is going to give us the opening remarks. The floor is yours, Friedrich.
Thank you, Priscilla. So, distinguished speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to this kick-off webinar on promoting innovation, employability, and entrepreneurship among youth. My name is Friedrich Hubler, and I'm the head of UNESCO-UNEVOC. This webinar has been organized jointly by the UNESCO-UNEVOC International Center for TVET and HP LIFE. In total, we received more than 150 registrations from 30 countries across the globe, and this strong interest from TVET managers, trainers, recent TVET graduates, and current trainees confirms the relevance of this discussion on entrepreneurship in TVET. So thank you for joining us today. Let me first extend our sincere appreciation to our HP LIFE colleagues who are led by Markus Schwertl, who is here with us today for this timely collaboration. I would also like to thank our esteemed guest speakers, Cherubim Mavuli and Jacqueline Kisato. Thank you for agreeing to share your experiences with us. The world of work is undergoing major transformations caused by technical change, the effects of globalization and climate change, and crises like the COVID-19 pandemic. This has led to an increase in unemployment, underemployment, and longer school-to-work transitions among youth. Entrepreneurial learning in TVET aims to develop transferable skills, knowledge, and attitudes that are necessary for employees, future entrepreneurs, and other individuals to innovate and create in response to challenges at work and within their communities. UNESCO-UNEVOC has made an effort to promote entrepreneurial learning across the TVET sector and recognizes the importance of enabling entrepreneurship as a driver for growth, innovation, job creation, and achieving sustainable development. UNESCO-UNEVOC works to equip TVET trainers and managers with the skills and knowledge to design and deliver the type of entrepreneurial learning that helps learners develop the creative and innovative skills needed to solve the most pressing challenges of the 21st century. Today, entrepreneurship in Tibet remains an important topic in our work. For this reason, it is also highlighted in the UNESCO strategy for Tibet for the years 2022 to 2029, where it appears under the priority area, develop skills for all individuals to learn, work, and live. This webinar marks our collaboration with HP LIFE, a global training program from the HP Foundation. Just as UNESCO-UNEVOC, HP LIFE aims to promote skills for work and life. We will hear more about this shortly from our colleague from HP LIFE. By partnering with HP LIFE, we aim to reach youth not in education, employment, or training, or needs as they are commonly called, and we ask for your support in achieving this. The program from HP LIFE is available in 8 languages, among them 5 official UN languages, and thus it offers great reach to a diverse range of countries in Africa and other regions. It is our sincere hope that by the end of this webinar, you will have gained new insights into the development and application of entrepreneurial skills. To the trainers in this meeting, we hope that the skills and knowledge acquired will ignite new approaches to teaching in your respective Tibet institutions across the globe. To the young learners and recent graduates here today, we hope that this training will foster new ideas and create a positive mindset for you to start and grow your own ventures, become problem solvers, and break barriers that may exist in your societies. So thank you all for participating today. We look forward to continued collaboration with you. And I would now like to invite our colleague from HP LIFE, Markus Schwertl, to tell us more about their program.
Wonderful. Good afternoon. I hope that you can see my slides properly, or do I have to move to the other presenter mode?
We still see preview.
Okay. So that should be better then. Excellent. Thank you so much for the warm welcome, and thanks for the excellent preparation of this webinar. It's a great pleasure and honor for me to join today's session. My name is Markus Schwertl. I'm based in Berlin, Germany, and I'm looking after government affairs and public policy for HP. As a computer and print company, we also have a foundation, HP Foundation, and HP Foundation is pulling this offering together, HP LIFE. HP LIFE stands for HP Learning Initiative for Entrepreneurship. So it's an abbreviation. That's why we're always writing it in capital letters. And I'm so sorry that I don't really see who is on the call and where you are from and who I'm talking to. So it's great that we have the opportunity to have this interaction, and still missing the personal note. So good afternoon, bon après-midi, and I want to share with you some high-level things about what our HP Learning Initiative for Entrepreneurs is, and hopefully you will find that useful. I have 10 minutes to go, so let me dive directly into it. So HP LIFE, what is it? It's a free business and IT skills training for entrepreneurs and innovators. There are more than 32 courses already in 8 languages. It is content that is available online. And when I talk about online, it's not just accessible via the internet. You can also download on your smartphone the HP Life app that has all the HP Life courses in an app format, ready and available for people to make use of it. It can also be accessed off-platform using a specific learning management system that can be downloaded on any server. So even when you don't have connectivity, you can still access that interactive content in a learning environment center or wherever you want to teach it or want to learn it. The course material, whenever you finish a course, it offers the participant to print a certificate of course completion. So at the end of each course, there is a questionnaire. It's not a test on the content. We are not testing the content. We are just asking for feedback on the learning experience. And whenever you finish a course and go through this questionnaire at the end, the system invites you, if you want to, then you can enter your name and a PDF file will be generated there and sent to you to the email that you mentioned during registration. And there you will get a certificate of course completion that you can either print out in physical terms or save as a PDF and add it to your e-portfolio or wherever you think it's suitable. We also provide train the trainer tools. So for those who are representing educational institutions who are thinking of how can we add to what we are doing already on entrepreneurial learning, we have some tools available on our platform that instructors, teachers can review and look into what's possible. Now, there is the URL already. Please don't use it. Why I'm saying that? Because I'm sure later on the UNESCO-UNEVOC team will share a specific URL for our partnership that we invite you to use so that we make sure that all the interest and traction that is coming out of this partnership will be helpful. You can still certainly go there and check out the content, but please don't register yet. Wait for the rest of this webinar. Here are the languages in which the program is available. I hope that a language that's close to you is on here. So for the African continent, certainly English, French, Arabic, Portuguese, and Spanish are of higher interest. So unfortunately, we don't have any African native languages yet, but we have some ways of working with countries who are interested to find local partners to localize content if they want to. So we are open for this. Now, what is HP Life Learning? And it is a business and IT free online platform. We want to support people who want to create their own business, who want to be better in running their own business, or who just want to be better in their job and get an entrepreneurial mindset. So target audiences for institutions who are working with are students, unemployed, underemployed, micro, small business owners, mid-career changers. And what we do with our offering is we ask institutions, look, check out this content, pick and choose what is relevant for you and use only that. And there is no cost attached. There are no fees attached, no licensing attached. You don't have to sign any contract. It's free and accessible for everyone. We are partnering with UNDP when it comes to larger partnerships where people want to maybe get knowledge sharing with other instructors who are teaching it already. So UNDP offers train the trainer sessions after doing a thorough assessment of what is really needed. So we don't let people alone with here's the URL, go and check it out. We are really partnering through this activity with UNESCO-UNEVOC, making sure that this becomes a successful implementation wherever this should work. Now, just to share with you a few numbers, but the most important number for me is the one in the middle. So we we send 6 months and 12 months after course completion an email to people who took the course, to the email they gave us, and if they gave us the consent to send emails to them. And the feedback we get, 84% of those who respond say that they credit their success in their career or whatever they wanted to achieve to what they learned in our courses. And that makes us incredibly proud. And that is why we are so happy and eager to widen our collaboration with UNESCO-UNEVOC to give access to even more people. I'm sharing with you now an eye chart. It's terrible to read. It's a list of the existing courses. So you see, and I'm not reading through all of them, and you will find all of that online, but these are the 5 buckets where you find communication, startup and innovate, finance, marketing, and operations. And as you can see, this is not just about running a business or opening the business. There's, for example, one course, it's called the Success Mindset. And in this course, and all of them have a duration of approximately 1 hour, you can learn how to set smart goals. What is a smart goal? How do I set a smart goal? How do I recognize a smart goal? I would have wished I had a course like that before I started university myself. So therefore, this is just an overview about where this is. So, and I'm sharing with you over here screenshot. This is how the web interface looks like. I'm not running you through this web interface at this stage because I'm looking forward to you moving through that later on yourself, if of interest, and because of the interest of time. I want to thank you again for your interest in diving deeper into exploring additional teaching and learning material for entrepreneurial learning. HP and HP Foundation, we would be proud to be partners in supporting your educational institution or your personal learning path in order to widen your mindset in that field. We are eager and happy to get your feedback and comments. We have a very active Facebook groups of users over there that is carefully screened for what interesting feedback do we get. So we want to get better, and we want to help you to get better on these topics. Thanks again to the UNESCO-UNEVOC Center for inviting me and for pulling together this webinar. I'm curious how the discussion will unfold. And with that, I'm giving back to the facilitator. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Marcus, for that introduction into what HP Life is. And it's great to see that HP Life is an abbreviation. So it actually brings in the point that is about entrepreneurship. It's not about anything else but entrepreneurship. So thank you so much for that introduction. And just to get a gist of what we're talking about, I'd like to invite my colleague, the team leader for private sector engagement, Mr. Jan Stuvilik, to come in and just show us a snippet of what this HP Life looks like and how we can navigate through the program. The floor is yours, Jan.
Thank you very much, Priscilla. Thank you very much, Marcus, for your motivating words and giving us a good overview about HP Life. Hello to everyone joining this webinar. I'm very happy that there are so many interested in this important topic. And even if Marcus said, in the interest of time, he's not going too deep into it, I still would like to give you at least a little bit of an insight about what HP Life has to offer. And therefore, I would like to present you the overview. I hope you can see my screen now. So the chat message I just posted in is the link we'd like to use. It's hplifeglobal.org and then with the ending UNESCO-UNEVOC. So we would be very happy if you're going to use this link, also for us for the monitoring reasons and to follow up. Yeah, so the website gives you a nice overview about all the different courses that are here available. If you're going down, you see some numbers here already, some ideas about different courses. We even gave you an overview about 10 courses with a focus on entrepreneurship, like successful mindset that Marcus already mentioned, or starting a small business, design thinking, and so on. If you just put here in the title of the course, or even what you're just interested, for example, social media or anything else, one of the courses will show up. You can just directly. Marcus also mentioned already that it's really for free. There are no strings attached. Just try it if you're interested in it. The joining process is just like any other website where you need to register. Here it's giving you the overview about the name, email, and so on, of course. And as I'm already registered, I would like to give you a short overview about of one of the courses. It's called Starting a Small Business. I think it's a very catchy title, and this is probably very motivating just to get into it. Normally, it starts with a small story. Here we have a video. Don't worry, I won't show it to you now, but really just to getting an idea, setting the scene. And here on the right-hand side, you can just navigate to the next point. It's very well done. There are many videos just to listen, to watch, to learn, and of course also more written text, where you need to also really click through to finish and unlock the course to get further. What is really nice, besides the animation and really, I think, motivating setup, is you will also get some PDF or Word documents where you can really go into your own planning. And this is really what I would like to motivate you. It's about enjoying this learning experience. It's not about only remembering what is written here or what the website shows you, but it's really getting connected, having your own business idea already in mind, and you really, like here, having a pen and a piece of paper and noting down some of the ideas you're having. I'm scrolling down here quickly to give you, for example, here one of these templates that I think are well done. It's really about getting involved. It's not just about consuming, but it's really, you have a goal. Yeah, if you'd like to become an entrepreneur, you really need to go into it. And it's about the learning taxonomy. It's not just remembering, it's also understanding, and even more, it's applying, it's analyzing what you're doing, and then in the end, even evaluating and creating your own idea. There's also a template, for example, for the business plan that you could do. So this is really something very hands-on. About this here, the business concept and so on, you also get at the end all the resources that you can still use. For example, the business plan, the target market template, and so on. Marcus also mentioned already that there is a new mobile app. I need to apologize, I haven't had the chance to use this one yet, but I think it's always handy really to have it with you, to have, you always have a few minutes, around 60 normally for one of these courses, to use on your bus ride, or when you're waiting for something, or just in between. So I think it's very easy to use it in your daily life. Yeah, so from my point of view, also very nice is the very practical approach that is in here. This course, for example, offers even or suggests really practical mobile apps in addition that you can try, and where your entrepreneurial mindset can be strengthened as well. So just really try it, see how it fits to you. And at the end, I would like also to show you one of the certificates just to get an idea. This is what it looks like. I here did the 3D printing course, and also this one is really recommended from my side. And it's yeah, it can also really be fun. So I really motivate you to get engaged and just try it yourself. So thank you very much. That's it from my side so far. And then I'm handing over to you, Priscilla. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Jan, for this overview. I think it creates a good understanding of what to expect once our partners and our colleagues go into the HP Life to see what is in store. So I'm just looking at the chat and I can see we have great representation from different countries. I can see we have people from Gaza, Palestine, we have Zambia, we have Botswana, we have Ghana, Cape Coast. So keep writing to us. Let's know where you're joining us from. We have Seychelles in the house as well. This is lovely. We have South Africa. We have Kenya. Ghana again. We have Cameroon. We have Italy. And we have Turkey. So it's great to see that we are joining from different parts of the world, and this is very commendable. So keep writing to us where you're coming from. We want to keep this engaged, and always feel free to use the reaction and the Q&A session if you have any questions that you want to ask. So as we now move next, I'm going to just give you an overview of what entrepreneurship is in terms of our perspective as UNESCO-UNEVOC. So I saw someone had asked what is UNESCO-UNEVOC in the chat, and I think this is the opportunity for me to just do an overview of what UNESCO-UNEVOC is and what we are doing. So UNESCO-UNEVOC is an international center for TVET. We are part of the bigger education system, which is UNESCO, but for us, we focus mainly on TVET. And what we do is to support our member states, including TVET institutions within our networks and beyond, to really strengthen their capacities when it comes to delivery of TVET. So our mandate basically is to ensure that TVET is delivered. We increase access to TVET education for all people in the world globally. And we do this through various ways. We look at it by developing training guidelines and toolkits. So we do a lot of research to get the best and the latest trends when it comes to TVET, when it comes to the labor market, when it comes to how some of the barriers that people experience can be mitigated. And we provide those through toolkits, through guidelines, and through discussion papers, which we support with the member states and also other TVET institutions to better their TVET delivery capacities. We also do capacity building, and this is more or less what we specialize on, is to try to build capacity of trainers and TVET managers and system level planners so that they are able to understand what is happening in the world of TVET and how they can use the capacities and the trends that we establish to better improve and strengthen their TVET delivery. Also, we provide networking opportunities and partnerships, and we do this through our various forums that we have. We have a TVET forum, which you can look at later, where we bring all the experts and the think tanks when it comes to TVET together to discuss certain topics. If it's going to be a discussion about entrepreneurship, you're going to get the best from all over the world. As you can see, we have representations from different parts of the world, and sometimes you get to learn a lot when you just interact with someone who has a different perspective. And other than that, we also offer technical assistance. This is within our UNESCO-UNEVOC network, which is around 229 institutions, that is composed of system level planners from the ministries of different countries. We're talking about the national bodies that are responsible for the delivery of TVET, from the curriculum developers all the way to the teachers training colleges. We have universities who specialize on technical courses, and also they do a lot of research. And we also look and work with TVET institutions mostly, who form part of our network. So we are very rich and diverse in terms of the content, and we bring that value, that addition to you by providing different perspectives when it comes to TVET. We don't do this without relying on something. So our work is usually underlined, or we embed all our work within the SDGs. And most importantly, the SDG that really designs and guides our work is the SDG number 4. And we look at target 4.3 and 4.4, 4.5. And specifically, you can see that target 4.4 is about entrepreneurship. It talks about how can we improve employment opportunities? How can we improve decent jobs and entrepreneurship? And this is what we really work. And we try to answer these questions every day by looking at different ecosystems and things that affect the delivery of TVET, the delivery of entrepreneurship, and how can we improve some of these the skill development within entrepreneurship to ensure that we have persons who come out into the labor market who are able to solve the most pressing problems that we have, as what Friedrich had introduced, that the world is going through a lot of technical changes, globalization changes, and also disruptions. And we need to come up with pupils, or we need to come up with trainees who are able to respond to this and to provide solutions as we move ahead. So part of our strategy, which is the midterm strategy that we are concluding this year, is well aligned with the SDGs. So we focus on SDG number 1, 5, 8, 9, 13, and 17. And you can specifically see that SDG number 8 is about decent work and economic growth. So we're talking about entrepreneurship, developing ventures and startup companies that are going to provide decent work, both for the developer and or the founder, as well as the people who interact and get employment, or people who are going to be aligned with that entrepreneurship. So just to introduce part of the new strategy that we have for the 2022 and 2029, UNESCO strategy for TVET is going to be focused on 3 priority areas. So we're talking of priority number 1, which is to develop skills and for individuals to learn, work, and live. Then the second priority we are going to be working on is to develop skills for inclusive and sustainable economies. And lastly, we're going to prioritize developing skills for inclusive and peaceful societies. So our work as UNESCO-UNEVOC, which you can actually see on the lower part of this PowerPoint, is actually aligned to answer to these 3 priority areas that are going to be the focus for the next 5 or so years. And entrepreneurship is part of it. And we are very committed to ensuring that we provide skill development for entrepreneurship. And HP Life collaboration is part of this opportunity, that we want to bring you the latest trends and the latest understanding when it comes to skill development in entrepreneurship. So we've talked about entrepreneurship a lot, and some people will not understand, what is this entrepreneurship we're talking about? What is it? So entrepreneurship comes from a French word, which means entrepreneur. I'm not a French, so I'm not going to say, but it can be loosely translated to mean to undertake. Entrepreneurship is about undertaking. Undertaking means an action part. So it's not just about reading something in class and then thinking, oh, I can be an entrepreneur. No, it's about undertaking the practice. So for us, we look at entrepreneurship as a way to promote creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurial mindset. So basically what we try to do is to ensure that the TVET managers, the TVET trainers have this understanding of how to develop creativity, innovation, entrepreneurship. And at the end of it, entrepreneurship is so common and it's so important, because I'm sure you've heard about entrepreneurship too many times before. It's so important because it does 2 things. Number 1, other than just creating the economic development sustainability, it provides innovation. Innovation is what has brought us where we are. Innovation started a long time ago from the likes of Edison and etc. So innovation is what really provides solutions to some of the problems that we encounter every day. And most importantly, entrepreneurship provides the self-reliance. So self-reliance is the ability to be aware of where you are, aware of what you are doing, and aware of that efficacy that you can do whatever you want to do, or within that reason. So you are not going to feel like you are not able to do something, but you can go ahead and pursue any area of interest that you want to pursue. And when we talk about creativity, when it comes to TVET, we've had this discussion before where we hear that schools are killing creativity. And this is very debatable, especially within the work and some of the research that we do. And sometimes the killing of creativity can be attributed to the fact that we've come from systems that only provide for one answer. There's always choose the correct answer, choose this correct answer. And sometimes it's the system level of it. But when you come to entrepreneurship, you find that sometimes it's not about the correct answer. There's no right or wrong answer. It's about how you present what your value, the value that you want to create. So I'd like to give you an example of the picture. You can see it's written there, Chai GPT. With what is happening currently, we all know that Chat GPT has become such a huge topic and everyone is talking about it. So there's this entrepreneur, I'm not sure which country they're from, who is more of a coffee business, or they sell coffee or tea. And chai means tea. For the people who speak Swahili or Arabic, chai means tea. So this person thought about it and said, wait a minute, I can actually benefit from this by by attracting more customers, and they called their business Chai GPT. So this could mean that you get the tea as fast as possible, as fast as you can get solutions using Chat GPT, or it could mean you can use your laptop while you're taking the tea while you're sitting there. So whatever the discussion is, it's already creating a topic. The topic of discussion is a conversation starter, and someone will want to go in there and check and see, what is this Chai GPT all about? So it's about creativity. Creativity has no limits. And basically, when you talk about entrepreneurship, the key part of what the work has always been is to keep the creativity alive. And sometimes when we work with TVET institutions, the first thing we say is that TVET institutions should value creativity. And if you're going to develop a value statement or a policy statement that talks about your core competencies, creativity should be top of it, because it's through creativity that we are able to turn all the work that we are learning within the TVET institutions into productive or tangible work. So diversity is very key. So we talk about how can you promote creativity and innovation within your TVET institutions to your trainees who you're training, or how can you even promote creativity at an individual level? So number one, we talk about diversity of experiences. I work a lot closely within the inclusion and gender topics, and I can talk about diversity in many ways, but diversity is not just only what we discuss all the time, which is more of a diversity of whatever diversity here and there, but we're always talking about diversity of experiences, because different people bring in a lot of experiences, and it's through this diversity that we are able to see how different people from different backgrounds are able to solve a particular problem. And sometimes it's about experience. When you talk about diversity, it's bringing in the older generation with the alpha and the younger generation together, so that they can actually challenge each other's approach and come up with an innovative solution. So the other key thing about creativity is to know that creativity and failure go together. So there's no way you can just come up with a creative idea and then all of a sudden it's a hit. It's going to be a lot of tweak and tricks here and there, improve this, improve that. So whenever you go through failure, it doesn't mean that your idea is not making sense, but the idea is you are towards the right channel. So we see problems as opportunities. This is what we're talking about. It's talking about curiosity. So if you think back in your life, back then you used to be more curious. You used to have a lot of creativity when you were younger. But I think along the way, we lose this creativity because of the mindset that we have. And the topic that we have with even HP Life is about how do you change that mindset to become limitless, to be able to come up with ideas that are out of this world. We've seen the likes of Elon Musk. Those are the people who sit down and they can just come up with any idea and try to look at it in different ways, analyze, and at the end of the day, you come up with a brilliant idea that everyone is going to look up and say, how did you come up with this idea? So when you talk about creativity and how you can increase your creativity, we're talking about looking at problems in different dimensions. You can actually look at it analytically, and you can also make as many assumptions as possible. And the key thing is to actually challenge those assumptions that you make. So I don't want to get so deep into it, but I'd like for you to take like a minute to go into the charts and tell us, what can you do to increase your individual creativity? And forget about training or anything, just this is at an individual level. What can you do to increase your individual creativity? Just go into the charts and let us see how, what you can actually do to increase your individual creativity. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going just to present this, this framework that we have at UNESCO-UNEVOC, which is the core elements of entrepreneurship. So what we're talking about is, how do I turn an idea into an opportunity? And you turn an idea into an opportunity by looking at those 6 levels that we call it the core elements. And number 1 is to check your own potential. So we are talking about the ability to pursue your own wishes, hopes and dreams and talents. The people who have passion for cooking, the people who have passion for agriculture, passion for welding, etc. It's about looking at that own potential and pursuing something within that. We don't have to copy what someone else is doing that is successful, but it's about looking within yourself and seeing, what am I good at? What do I have passion for? And then you can go ahead and pursue that. Then it's about looking at to see an opportunity. An idea is the light bulb that comes to your head when you have this, when you see a gap in the market. But to make sure that that gap is an opportunity is a different case. So you have to look at, is this opportunity that I have, does it add value to the community? As we talked about the UNESCO 3 priority areas, we're talking about individuals, economies, and societies. Does my idea really add value to any of these 3 cohorts? It could be value in financial value, it could be social value, it could be cultural value, whatever kind of value, but does it add value to that? Because when something adds value to a community, an economy, or an individual, they will be willing to pay for that. And that's what makes it a business. So so the key thing is to look at, what are the problems that are there in my community? One community can be going through a particular problem. You might be having a water problem. If most of you have watched this movie, that the boy who harnessed water through the wind, it's on Netflix, but it's just a boy who looked at the problem they have in their community. They had a water problem, and so he thought of, what solution can I come up with? He thought about the wind power, the windmill, and it took a lot of work to convince the community, including the father, but at the end of it, it was a problem that solved their immediate culture. So when you think about solving problems, it's no universal way to solve a problem, but it depends on the context in which someone comes from. So the other thing to transform your idea into an opportunity is to identify the risks and the constraints that are going to be there. Entrepreneurs are not adventurers. That's what we concluded. But an entrepreneur is able to view and actually measure and see what kind of risks are there. How do I avoid these risks? Because no one wants to go and face a risk head to head. So you have to have a foresight, see the kind of risks you expect, come up with mitigation factors, and then try to analyze and see what is the likelihood of ABC happening and how can you mitigate this risk. And then the other thing is to look at the resources. What kind of resources do I need to turn this idea into an opportunity? And resources can mean many things. It could be networking when it comes to entrepreneurship. Do I have enough networks within this space? Do I have the skills that are needed or the know-how for this particular? If you're talking about you want to develop an app, you need to ask yourself, do I know how to code? Maybe this is a necessary tool and resource that I need to have. And it's also about funding. How do you mobilize funding for you to be able to fund this idea that you have so that you can deliver it to the customers that you have in mind? And this is where we talk about, how do I come up with the funding opportunities? And then at the end of it, an idea remains an idea if it's not put into action. And this is what we always say, whatever you do, don't overthink it, just go in and try. So this framework that was developed by the European Foundation, Training Foundation, it really summarizes the 3 core competencies, the 3 core areas that you need to be thinking about. So it comes from the idea and to opportunity identification, thinking about resources, and then into actions. So TVET managers can use this 15 because every part has 5 competencies. You can use these competencies to actually see whether you capture all the necessary competencies when you're training your trainees. And for the trainees who are here and graduates, you can use this model to actually see, are there any gaps when it comes to competencies? What are you missing and what do you need to plug in as you get ahead? So we say an entrepreneurial TVET, when we go and talk about an entrepreneurial TVET as a TVET institution that allows both the school and the labor market and the society to coexist together when it comes to the development of skills, when it comes to entrepreneurship. So we say a good or an entrepreneurial TVET institution is one that supports the career path and startups. So it provides this hands-on experiential training for the trainees. It's one that actually looks at the curriculum. How are you going to tweak the curriculum, or how are you going to deliver this curriculum in a more hands-on and real-life experiences as opposed to theoretical approach? Is one that the learning modes are going to be diverse, and the one that has that experiential work when to talk about practical application of entrepreneurship. Then it's actually a TVET institution that has policies and strategies that are aligned with the labor market needs. There's always this mismatch of skills, and we try to say, when you're thinking about your entrepreneurship, it should answer to the labor market's needs. If you see that the labor market's needs are about IT, then you should actually make your entrepreneurship more into more diverse or more flexible, so that it can actually answer to the labor market's needs. So we talk about having a good combination of both the micro and the macro view of entrepreneurship to ensure that you are successful as an TVET institution when it comes to the delivery of the entrepreneurship courses for your trainees, for the benefit of your trainees, who can in turn solve problems and contribute to the economic development of your countries. So just to give us a little study that was done by Stanford in 2020. So one person came up with a question: how do I know the impact of the effectiveness of entrepreneurship programs? Because sometimes you find that you need to do a longitudinal survey over times to see the kinds of TVET programs that you have on entrepreneurship. Do they really add value to the development or the increase of entrepreneurship as you go ahead? And what came out was that from what Stanford was doing, and this is a context of the of Stanford University, which they were just looking at the Silicon Valley setup, and they were looking at two of the programs that they had on entrepreneurship starting from 1990 all the way to 2020. And they wanted to actually know what is the impact and effectiveness of entrepreneurship on these programs. And the findings were quite interesting. Well, they said, while the entrepreneurial programs may not increase the entrepreneurial rates, so the number of entrepreneurships were not increased, but the trainees had increased their ways to identify potential. And most importantly, the startup performance increased. So what we can conclude from this, or what they concluded, is that entrepreneurship programs that you pursue based now on evidence actually show that it can contribute to skill development in which ways that a trainee can recognize an opportunity. So they have the awareness of ability and skill. So the awareness of ability and skills means that you're actually able to retrospect and look at yourself and say, is this something that I'm able to do? What are my abilities? And knowing your abilities can actually inform what gaps you need to fill in, what more competencies and knowledge you need to acquire for you to come up to a particular level. The other thing that they concluded was it increases the ability to execute, because once the entrepreneurship program is pursued by a trainee, they feel more comfortable to look for avenues in which they can fundraise, in which they can test the practices by trying to do a sales opportunity or closing a sale, and this really allows them to be more comfortable and more confident about their ability to execute, and also they concluded that it contributes to an increased social networking, and social networking is through mentors and role models. So whatever training you're doing in your TVET institution when it comes to entrepreneurship, having that aspect of mentors and entrepreneurs who are already doing something within your communities really allows for networking to thrive, and the trainees can start looking at someone or some successful entrepreneur and go and say, this is something that I want to continue. And lastly, they concluded that it increases performance in startup. So the quality of entrepreneurship is going to be improved. And by quality, I know I mean that when it comes to management, when it comes to project delivery, different cycles, when it comes to service offering to the customers, it improves drastically. It improves drastically based on the kind of training that you offer within the institution. So while HP Life has many courses that you can choose from, we have narrowed down as a starting point for you that you can just think about. Number one, successful mindset, because mindset really allows you to go and pursue other things. So you can start from there, start with the topic of successful mindset, then go into starting a small business. All the way, you will understand design thinking, there's selling online, there's cash flow. How do you mobilize for funds? There's circular economy, if you're thinking about social entrepreneurship. There's looking at websites, effective website, social media marketing, which has become very interesting as we move ahead. So once you go to the HP Life, take the time to go through concepts, use the practices that are already there. Take the time, and that's why it's a self-paced learning forum. It allows you to actually think about it, go execute, come back to it and see if there's anything that you need to add on to it. And if you have any questions, you can just jump into the TVET forum that we have, and we're going to share the link with you so that you can actually bring those questions into the forum and allow the experts to give you solutions to it. And you can always learn from something. So what we have done, and just quickly talk about what some of the work that we have done as UNESCO-UNEVOC. In 2021, towards the end, we launched a practical guide on how to increase or to improve entrepreneurship in your institutions, and it provides you with a canvas, which we borrowed mostly from the business canvas. And this one, we call it Entrepreneurial Learning Institutional Canvas, which allows you to change and to assess the level of entrepreneurship within your institution. So if you think your level is 0 based on the assessment that you do from our guide, you can actually put these measures into consideration, and then combining this with HP Life courses, it will make sure that you produce entrepreneurial students who are high problem solvers in the society. So other work that we have done within the UNESCO-UNEVOC, other than the practical guide, we have a discussion paper. As we said, we do a lot of research now and then to come up with solutions and the latest trends and understanding using promising practices. These are good examples where you can learn from as you pursue entrepreneurship training or entrepreneurship practices within your communities, as well as virtual conferences. We have virtual conferences where we start a topic and allow everyone to contribute on that. And as I said earlier, we still have a lot of content. We have publications within the UNESCO-UNEVOC platforms. We have capacity building programs that come in, they come in every now and then. And for people who have been working with us, they already know this, but I'll urge the newcomers especially to come and look at what kind of offering we have. And other than that, we also have the Build project, which also focuses a bit on entrepreneurship by showcasing the innovative practices that are done within Africa, Europe, and Asia Pacific. And we welcome you to explore that as well and to see how best you can benefit from some of the work that we do. So I don't want to talk much more about that, but I think that gives you an understanding of why entrepreneurship is so profound to UNESCO-UNEVOC and why we really need you to support us, especially what the head of office requested, that you make sure that this program goes and reaches especially the NEET community, those who are not in education, those who are still out there who have no access. They could be the elderly who are looking to start entrepreneurship. It will be an opportunity for us to reach as many as possible, so that it's not just going to be a formal TVET, but we can do informal and informal training on this course. So I don't want to talk too much about it, but allow me to take this opportunity now to have our guest, one of the guests that is going to talk to us about how we can leverage on digital platform to start and grow a business. So allow me to introduce Mr. Cherubim Mawuli, who is commonly known as Digital Mawuli, and he will tell us why he's called Digital Mawuli just shortly. And just to give you an understanding of who he is the founder and president of Strategic Imperative, which is called Strimpe. And what he does is a digital marketing and digital transformation strategist with over 10 years experience in crafting and executing successful digital campaigns and initiatives. He's the founder of this organization that really focuses on digital transformation consultancies, uniquely serving African academia and industry. He's worked on projects on global brands such as Twitter, British Council, StarTimes, and Borussia Dortmund, which Germans can relate to very well here, as well as GCB Bank, etc. He is passionate about digital transformation and youth inclusion. And today he's going to share his experiences with us, something that is going to motivate you as a trainer or as a young graduate who is looking to start entrepreneurship. Thank you so much, Mr. Mawuli, for joining us, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Priscilla, for that exhaustive presentation. I took good notes myself, and I think a bit of some of the things I'll be sharing shortly would have to touch back on some of the key things you said, which were so profound. As rightly introduced, my name is Cherubim Mawuli Amanyado, but I prefer to be called Cherubim, or you can call me Digital Mawuli. Why Digital Mawuli? Because my whole career, I've been very, very much passionate about helping youth and businesses to be able to use the internet to start, grow, and scale their enterprise. That's basically what I do. So some of the brands you mentioned, I've worked with them in digital consultancy to be able to help them to start, scale, and grow their brands. So yes, I'm the founder and president of Stream. Just quite prior to that, I was teaching the digital marketing in Birkbeck University of London, and also I was the head of digital analytics with Utopia Africa, part of the BTL Africa network. So let's get started. I'm so excited. Just a quick thought, as we are all thinking about this, I want you to use the chat. Tell me 3 things about yourself. I saw some people tell me about the countries they were coming from. I want to know, first of all, your birth month, the month of your birth. So I am November, so write November, comma, and then add your country. So your country where you are speaking from or where you are. I'm speaking from the sunniest city in the world, Accra, Ghana. And then lastly, tell us your favorite social media. So my favorite social media is LinkedIn. So I would write something like November, Ghana, LinkedIn. So I just want to see it in the chat. Let me see what we have there. I've seen quite a number already. Okay, June, South Africa, LinkedIn. Thank you. June, South Africa, LinkedIn. Okay, I think, wow, 2 separate people. Wow, you may have been connected by some luck or some chance. That's great. Lydia from Ghana, Lana and Anne, and then Mpofana. June, wow, June is in a good lead, clearly here. March, okay, March, Germany, LinkedIn. November, Cameroon, LinkedIn. May, South Africa, LinkedIn. October, South Africa, LinkedIn. Wow, why is everybody on really LinkedIn? I think clearly LinkedIn is in a good, comfortable lead here. Okay, December, Kenya, Facebook. Sorry, the comments are running fast, so I just have to read quick. April, South Africa, Facebook. Abia is, okay. Sebastian, I guess Uganda, Instagram, stroke WhatsApp. Wow, that's interesting. Gabriel, February, Zambia, Facebook, stroke LinkedIn. I think clearly LinkedIn is in a good lead. So, well, this just gives us a sense of the kind of platforms we are engaging as entrepreneurs or as even TV trainers all across the globe. So let's dive into the first thought that I'm sharing on the screen. So it used to be that whenever we talk about marketing, we always say marketing used to be about just advertising, you know. Clearly, most of your audience are not really ready to buy, and the goal of marketing is to make them choose your brand when they are ready. However, nowadays, marketing has extended to everything you do. So everything you do to make them ready when they are ready to buy from your brand is what marketing is today. So the basic role of marketing or sharing about your product and service or digital marketing has evolved to just telling people about your product, but to doing extensive activities. Some go beyond marketing to sales, some even go into operations, how to even manage your stock, inventory, stock taking. E-commerce sites help you to do that quite much. So this is a thought that I want to start a presentation with, that marketing as we know it is dead, and marketing is now so much everything you do. So let's get started. Now, you all know the famous William Shakespeare and his question, to be or not to be. I would start that to be or not to be, that is not the question. The question is that how can you as a TVET trainer, as an entrepreneur in today's day and age, be able to do business, to be able to start your enterprise, talk about growing it and even scaling it without using the internet. So it's empirical, it's very, very important that everybody on this call should have an online or digital presence for their product or service that they intend to offer. So this is not, after this slide, we've gone past the need to whether want to have this product online or not online. So this slide is to show you that everybody on this call has a binding commitment, at least with me, Digital Maoli, that being online or not being online is not a question. I think I'll delve deeper into what you should be doing online when we get there. So now let's just go briefly about the key benefits of being online. So I'm talking to you, I'm sharing you the good gospel of being online, taking your business online, taking your idea online. What are some of the key benefits of being online? Quite clearly, when you are online, it helps you to be able to reach a wider audience. So just at the sound of my voice, I can speak to people in South Africa, speak to people in Botswana, speak to people in Nigeria, speak to people in Kenya, speak to people, I think I had Gaza or something early on. So online gives you that 24/7, 365 access to people's homes. People may never open their homes to you, but they open their homes to your business because your business has a Facebook page that they are looking at, or your business has an active Instagram account that they are scrolling. That's part of their daily feed. We spend most of our lives online today. So having your business, putting your business online is very, very important. Then also it helps you improve your service as from a customer service point of view. It gives you that 24/7 ability to be able to be live online, answering questions, taking live chats, responding to questions, and even having Q&As. You know, you can have messages that are answered that people can always look back to, and it helps fasten the cycle of sales. So it makes people not to be able to slow down when they're trying to close or when you're trying to close a client, because you've answered all the questions. Think about your product or service. What do you sell? Think about the questions or what we will call the jobs to be done around it. What are the concerns? What are the general concerns? Answer all of them as an FAQ. Put it online. Then as well, I think another important clear thing we need to know is that online makes you very competitive. Today, actually having a website or having social media presence is no longer a competitive advantage. It's now just the price for entry. The real issue is, what are you going to do on social media? Or how do you even brand yourself as an entrepreneur online? And for those still answering the chats, I think I'll mention them at the latter side of the presentation. And then the final most important thing, it also helps you to grow and scale your business. It gives you some level of predictability when you want to scale. Before online, if you wanted to scale, you needed so much resources. Right now, at the button of something called viral, the example Priscilla shared, the ChatGPT, free PR, we all heard about them without them paying a dime, by just being creative and using the power of online. So I'm here to leave you with a very powerful digital marketing strategy for the sake of my presentation called Solomo. So social, local, mobile. You understand it when I delve this in. So first of all, be social. So every entrepreneur on this call, one thing you want to do is that make sure your business has a social element. In social, one thing that tells on social is telling your story. Own your story. Nothing beats good storytelling when it comes to social media. Tell your clients how you came up with the idea. Personal stories stick a lot. You remember when Priscilla was even talking about ChatGPT, it will now be very curious upon us to try to find out why the owner named it ChatGPT, because as humans, we are naturally curious. Tell stories, tell your personal stories. Don't be shy of your stories as entrepreneurs. You've overcome adversities, you've solved problems. Use online to tell your stories. That's one way to be social. Also, join relevant platforms that aligns with your business goals. So don't just join every social media platform, join the ones that align with your business goals and also your audience target. Look at the people you are targeting and your goals. So at Stream, we are working at the intersection of academia and business. So I know my target audience, I know the kind of content I put out on social media, I know the type of social media, even as an organization, we should be on. Then the third thing you want to do is to engage promptly. So engagement is just what we did. So I asked you a question, tell me about your birth month, tell me about your country, tell me about your favorite social media. You told me, I read it out to you. Some of you were happy. That's simple engagement. And the rate at which you are engaging as a brand makes your account grow. Be very, very quick to answer questions. Be quick to like consumer content. It also gives the social media the confidence that you are very active with the account and they make your account grow. So these are very, very important things. Collaborate with influencers. There are certain people you may not be able to reach, but they already follow somebody who is an influencer in that area. Work with those people. Some SMEs like to work with me so that, because most of my work sometimes have to do with youth groups and SMEs. So they trust that whatever I suggest or recommend to SMEs, they'll take it. So that's one way of using influencers. Use people who talk to them, already are talking to the people you want to talk to online. Another important thing, user-generated content. When people share a review about your product, remember one thing on this call, if it's not online, it didn't happen. Anybody who says, wow, your chocolate tastes good, try and find a way of getting that person to say it on video. Try and get that person to put it as a review on your Google map. Try and get that person to put it as a review on your Facebook map or your Yelp or any platform you use locally in your country. Do not leave any compliment offline. That's the goal of this. User-generated content gives you social proof and authenticity. It's just like your LinkedIn recommendation. So from now, whatever business you do, anybody, customer appreciation or review you get, try and get it online. Then lastly, for being social, always test whatever you want to put out there, analyze and optimize. Social media has a lot of tools to help you do all of that. Then I would come to the second side of Solomo, which is being local. I know all our businesses are situated in a local context. We all aspire to be global and local conglomerates in future. However, we have to start local. Being the part of the Solomo strategies that be very relevant to the locality you are in. So as we all know, location, location, location. First thing you want to do is to search engine optimize your websites, your app, or whatever you have, whatever is your point of landing, page landing or whatever it is, be sure to optimize it very well for social media. So search engine optimization means using the right keywords or being found when people type the right keywords on Google now. And even now, we are even entering the second phase of search. ChatGPT has already been mentioned. So, and also work, if you have an app, work on your app store optimization. So whatever you put out, be sure at least one free tip, always name any picture you put out about your business. If you don't have any name for it, name it the name of your business and what is in the picture. So for example, your profile picture as an entrepreneur, we take it down LinkedIn, the same profile. I would advise you, you can use the same profile picture throughout all your social media. So your Facebook profile picture, take it down and name the profile picture the name you want to be known for. So you can call it like mine, Digital Mauli, President and Founder Stream, Strategic Imperative. Simple. That's a simple SEO tip, naming all your images and videos before you put them online. Otherwise, Google reads them as IMG001 or Untitled Image 001, and that's not helping your business. Also, encourage reviews, as I said earlier on. Let people write. Even sometimes, you can even say anybody who reviews your business, you give them something free. It goes a long way because the collection of these reviews also determine how Google ranks your business or your enterprise when people are searching for you online. Those of you who use Yelp, those of you who use TripAdvisor and Facebook, encourage your customers, sometimes even friends and family, to give you good reviews online. Then lastly, build an active local footprint. You know, Google is very relevant because they give contextual relevance when it comes to location. So when I come to Ghana or I step in Nigeria or I go to South Africa and let's say I just land at Lagos or Abuja, whatever I search on Google, Google will give me a local context. Google will not give me a restaurant in, let's say, Accra, Ghana. No, it's not relevant to my location. So make sure you attend local events and have a good online footprint about you engaging in the local community where you are in. Collaborate with other businesses if you can. And then leads me to the last part of the fix Solomo, which is being mobile. Today's world is mobile world. And I said, if it's not online, it didn't happen. And secondly, if it cannot be accessed on mobile, rethink that you're offering. Every business offering you have should be able to be accessible by mobile because everybody is using mobile. Yeah. So anything you do as an entrepreneur, think mobile first. If you are building a website, over 70, almost close to 90% of people access website from mobile phones. So make sure it's optimized for mobile. Then also mobile commerce is on a high rise. Some stats, I think the most closest I've seen is 60% of people now shop on their phone. So don't do too many steps to shopping on your mobile cart. Don't make it too lengthy. Give it people access to time. You know, one of the things I learned the other day was that when people do like this, you know, this ability to swipe up, it releases some level of dopamine. among people. So anything you can do, that's why things like Instagram, TikTok are so addictive, because we are always scrolling up. So think of that in your business strategy. Find a way to integrate mobile commerce in whatever you do as an entrepreneur. Also use redeemable coupons. So there's a local restaurant I've shopped with that they have an app, and they've actually given me a redeemable coupon during a weekend. It was so contextual. So anybody who has the app who is out of range does not get to have that coupon, but people in their shop over a weekend, they give you free discount. Leverage on this as well. Then as well, SMS. People say SMS is dead. Actually, it's not. SMS is still playing a key role to be able to connect people online. Sometimes you get SMSs with embedded links in them that you can use to access websites, to download apps or whatever you have. SMS is still relevant. And then also, when you're doing email marketing, do not forget mobile first. Everybody almost accesses email on the go. That your corporate email on Outlook, on Google, whatever email sender you're using, Zoho, whatever, you still almost always access it when you're driving or when you're at home. So think of mobile when you're giving an SMS offer or anything of that sort. And then lastly, always explore notifications. The joy of mobile is that we are notified about whatever we do. And that's one cool thing about mobile. So mobile gives you the ability to be notified. Use it wisely. As I mentioned early on, you go to a shop and then they give you access to a discount just because you are at that shop at that time. So use, and also some, there you can search about beacons. Beacons give you, when you put your Bluetooth on, it gives you, let me say, marketing offers in a particular range. So these are some of the things I feel Solomo can help you to be able to achieve. However, there's more. Beyond these three things I've shared, being social, being local, and being mobile, one of the core things you also want to do to your enterprise or your business is to be truly transformed. And by truly transforming, it means leveraging AI. I know by now everybody on this call have heard about some AI in some form. Either AI is coming for their job. Actually, AI is coming for the job of people who don't use AI. So clearly, quite clearly, be transformed true and true. Use AI or use tools that I'll be listing that will help you through and through in your entire marketing phase. And it is slightly beyond, from prospecting for customers, to understanding the customer needs, to finding out what they do. Priscilla said one thing on the early call. She said, one thing about key thing about business is taking risk, which of course, taking calculated risk. The power of digital to help you take calculated risk is that, let's say you want to import something that is a very high, it's quite expensive to buy. You can run social media ads to be able to test an offer to see if people really want to buy. So for example, you can go online, run an ad to just people who own certain things in order to test, give them a test of what you want to do, maybe before you invest heavily or bigly or hugely into that enterprise. Digital has that capacity to be able to transform your risk-taking side of business. So being truly transformed is the goal of digital. So go beyond just the usual of just the few marketing things. This is a very resourceful insight I took from Smart Insight. I'm sure when you have this access to the slides, you'll be able to see each of these tools in quite detail. And it's been segmented based on the engagement types, how you reach people, how you engage customers, how you convert them, and how you act upon the conversion. So there are quite a number of tools that I've used personally that I would suggest. Some are quite free, some are premium. Brand24, Buffer, WooCommerce, WordPress itself, Moz, Social, Google Analytics, SEMrush, HubSpot. All these are digital intelligence tools that actually help you to be able to truly transform your marketing, your sales, and sometimes your operational experience as SMEs and as entrepreneurs. So this is an overview of some of the tools. I want you to take your time to just get through to them each, to be able to use them, to be able to reach, engage, convert, and even act upon your converted customers or potential customers. I think at this point, it's fair to say I've done a quite overview. Thank you so much. Here's my email and my LinkedIn profile. And I'm sure the slides will be shared as mentioned on the official link. So maybe I'll just give it back to Priscilla. But before that, maybe I just have a minute more, a minute, 40 seconds. Let me just read the comments. Okay, so June, Cameroon, WhatsApp, Gabriel, save time, Henry Ford. Okay, I think this is a different. So November, Botswana. I think I haven't missed much. So maybe I can just hand over back to you, Priscilla.
Thank you so much, Digital Mawuli. I'm sure people will never forget about Digital Mawuli. And I think sometimes when you hear about digitalization, it can be a little daunting to you because you're still wondering, all these things are new, they're happening. AI has come with a bang, and you don't even know where to start if you're still using your digitalization ends at the cell phone. So sometimes it's not just about getting to know everything that is happening within the digital space, but it's more importantly about where can you start. And this is why we keep emphasizing that if you go through the HP Life, you can actually see where to start. It provides like good foundation on website, on selling online, and you can actually now combine this with the tips from Digital Mawuli, who actually has given us a good understanding on real life experiences based on the kind of work that he does globally while sitting in Ghana. So it's very impressive to hear from you, Mawuli, and just sharing that experience with everyone here is very resourceful. And for the kind of participants we have today who are trainers and also graduates, you can actually see where you can plug in from different spaces. So whatever discussions that Mawuli has brought forth, you can see how you can incorporate that in your training in classes. If you are already an entrepreneur, you can add that into your entrepreneurship and your ventures, as well as you can actually use that to train your trainees on what they need to be on the lookout for when it comes to digitalization. So thank you so much, Mawuli, for that. And just to get to hear more, especially for the trainers who are here, who really want to get involved in entrepreneurship, who want to learn new tricks on how they can make it more hands-on. Because one of the challenges we have is that we always say trainers are not entrepreneurs. So don't expect them to come and tell you about new ideas or how this training is supposed to be. But there are some interventions that you can take into consideration from your TVET institution to ensure that the kind of experience you provide for the trainees is going to be real life and is going to be all rounded. So allow me to invite our next guest speaker, who is Dr. Jacqueline Kisato. Jacqueline Kisato is the mentor in business and innovation incubation, and she's also a board member for different kinds of boards. She is a master trainer for the students training on entrepreneurial promotion. It's a STEP program, mostly in East Africa, I've seen that. And she's also published different kinds of books and scholarly paper on the topic of entrepreneurship, social marketing, and inclusion for underserved groups in entrepreneurship ventures. So Jackie has worked within this space in 10 years and above. And on top of her being a lecturer at the Kenyatta University, she's also a leading and a board member for ICT companies in Kenya. So thank you so much, Jackie, for allowing us to hear your experience. Could you please give us a little understanding on what we need to do as trainers to make our training more experiential? The floor is yours, Jackie.
Thank you, Priscilla, for the introduction. I hope I am loud and clear. All right, so I'll take that to be a yes. So ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon from Nairobi, Kenya. Today, I'm going to tell you a story, and this is the story of our journey. The idea is to get experiential learning and to build a sustainable business. What we aim to do is to fabricate biodegradable packaging and sanitary towels by using seaweed and banana waste and make this a value addition strategy.
Sorry.
And we hope
Sorry, Jackie, we can't hear you clearly. Just probably adjust your microphone a bit so that we can get to understand. Thank you.
Okay, I have pulled out my earphones. Is it clearer now?
Yeah, just continue. We'll tell you as it proceeds.
Very well. I will try and keep myself as close to my laptop as possible. Already, ladies and gentlemen, that is a problem. Can somebody come up with a solution for it, please? All right, can we move to the next slide, please? Okay, you have moved to menus. Okay, that's very well. So when we were training entrepreneurs across different African countries, we realized that when we train the trainers to train entrepreneurs in TVET, in high school, and in universities, a lot of these students were creating trading businesses. So they were creating businesses like selling sweets, selling clothes, moving products and services. In our incubation center at the university, a lot of the innovators are not able to commercialize the innovations. Across Africa, youth unemployment is increasing. There are many challenges and there are many opportunities to create business, yet we are not looking at those as opportunities to create business for ourselves. And also, if you look at the micro and small enterprise, 50% do not make into their fifth birthday. But one interesting thing happened. When we went training in Djibouti and Madagascar, we trained TVET students on entrepreneurship, and we got very interesting results. Allow me to show you in the next slide, please. In Djibouti, we trained 50 students on how to build a business from the beginning until they get to market. These students came from different areas within the TVET. There were those who were electrical students, there were those who were in hospitality, there were mechanical engineers, and so on. Now, when we asked them to create businesses, they grouped themselves according to their specialties. And as you can see in the first picture, those students created a business where they were repairing all the ACs in Djibouti. And the Ministry of Education gave them a contract to do that for all the ACs. That was a skill set kind of entrepreneurship. The next one was a group of students who were in hospitality. Using their skills, they were able to create a business where they made very good snacks, sold it to hotels, sold it to the different tourist regions in Djibouti, and therefore created very sustainable businesses. So what we realized is entrepreneurship with a group of students who have skills is better than just basing it on knowledge. Next, please. So then we asked ourselves the next question. How do you move from innovation to entrepreneurship? First, we had to find a problem. Where is there a problem in Africa? Number two, what ideas can you come up with? Number three, who is this market? And is that market large enough? Number four, do we have a team with different skill sets to create this product or service? Number five, do we have a roadmap to get there? And the roadmap we chose is design thinking. And finally, can we make this product or service into a business? Those are the key questions we asked, and hence, here's the story of our experiential entrepreneurship. Next, please. So this is my student, Caroline. Caroline is a fourth-year student. She lives in Kenya. She has to buy her food rations every day because she cooks in her hostel. They have banned single-use plastic in Kenya because it's polluting the environment. But nobody has solved the problem for that trader back in the shop. You can see that light-skinned lady. She has no way of packaging for Caroline. Caroline also needs to use sanitary towels. When she uses them, she disposes in the garbage. And these sanitary towels end up in our landfills, causing more pollution in our environment. Next, please. So then we asked ourselves a question. What is the problem? Looking through research, and I was looking at the answers you gave when you were asked where you get your ideas, yes? We looked at research and we realized microplastic pollution is a major menace across African countries. The second thing we noticed is sanitary towel disposal is not organized in such a way that it does not cause pollution in the environment. And also remember, it is plastic-based, so it's not biodegradable. So we asked ourselves, can we carry out a market survey to understand what are the consumer needs and what do they want for the micro enterprises in terms of packaging and for the girls in terms of sanitary towels? Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I should point out today is Menstrual Hygiene Day. So this topic is very important for that aspect. Number two, using research, we found out that banana waste is a very viable material to use because every time you harvest a banana, you throw away the stem. And also seaweed is grown or it grows naturally, but nobody uses it. So we were going to use that as well. Now using science, we are going to create hydrogel. We are going to make a film which looks like plastic that is made from cellulose. And then we will use our grandmother's knowledge to get those plants that we know of in Kenya and create antimicrobial properties so that the sanitary towel is hygienic and the packaging is hygienic. Next, please. So we started by forming a team. You can see there I am with my team. I have a lecturer from one of the universities. His area of specialty is chemistry. We have a lecturer from Uganda. His area of specialty is biochemistry. We have a professor who checks on us to keep us in check because sometimes emotions fly. Then we have Dr. Evelyn from Kenyatta University, who's in pharmacology. We also have another team in engineering, material science, who help to ensure that we can get to this product that we're looking to create. Next, please. So there is our roadmap. So we have identified the problem, microplastic pollution. We have identified that youth are unemployed. We have identified that innovation is not commercializing. We have identified that our water bodies are polluted by this plastic. And of course, our land. All these are highlighted in SDG 8, 9, 13, 14, and 15. How are we going to get there? Design thinking. We empathize with the customer in pre-market survey. We ideate, we define a problem and start ideating in the laboratories. We prototype, go to market and test in the post-market survey. Finally, we develop business models that are going to be useful in converting all these into job opportunities for both employability and entrepreneurship for the youth. Next, please. So there starts our journey. We go to the market and ask 400 students from low-income areas, what are your challenges when it comes to sanitary towels? The girls tell us some of the towels are very costly, so we can't afford it. You've had a period poverty, that's a big challenge in North African countries. Another issue is the stigma. Nobody wants to talk about menstruation, so we don't know anything about all this microplastic pollution. So when somebody uses it, sometimes they just throw it out in a garbage pit, and that does not decompose. Then we also hear from them that they want us to create sanitary towels that are very absorbent because what they have in market does not serve them the way they need it to do. We also go to small businesses and ask, what are your packaging needs? And they tell us, we want something cheap, want something that you can pack our goods and services, and we want it to be affordable for us to make profit in our businesses. So we start brainstorming. Can we come up with names? Can we come up with packaging? And this, by the way, is done with my undergrad students. They are teaching me how to come up with social media marketing, which we'll come to in the next slide. Next, please. Now, there was a team that is involved in the engineering part. It is called the Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute. They work closely with TVETs who come in to intern their students there. They have fabricated using reverse engineering different machinery that we are going to use to get to our final product. So far, we have the decorticator, first picture, second picture, the digester, pulper, and so on. Next, please. We have students, remember we said experiential learning, who have to go through this process and learn and write thesis and show that they have learned and produced a product or service. So that young girl is Stephanie. She's a master's student. Her task is to use the banana fiber, create packaging, and go test it to prove that it will work for the low-income trader. So far, she has completed and taken her sample papers for testing, and she's finalizing her master's thesis to prove indeed this is an area that can be scaled to become a business. Next, please. We have a PhD student called Jared. Jared is working on converting that fiber into the cotton-like material. You can see it at the bottom in blue. So far, she has got there. She is currently putting it in her pieces and making it into a project that can be used by other people to scale and make it into a business. As you can see in the photograph, I have TVET students helping me out when we are working on our products because they have technical skills. These were engineering students who are ensuring that our machines were working effectively at QD. Next, please. We also have another PhD student. Her task is to work on the absorbency. So she is creating hydrogel from cellulose from bananas so that she impregnates the soft material to ensure our sanitary towel is highly absorbent. Currently, she's presenting in a conference next week on the same process and documenting her study. Next, please. We have Sharon. She went to her grandmother and asked, Grandma, what did you use to treat wounds when you were still a young girl? The grandmother gave her a few plants to test. She's currently extracting the metabolites, which will be used in the packaging and the sanitary towels. And her task is to ensure that the sanitary towels are hygienic and the packaging is also very hygienic for the consumer. Next, please. Finally, this study would not work unless we had a gentleman who cares about menstruation. So we have Duncan, who's working to create bioplastic. He's using seaweed and banana stem, and he's layering this to ensure that we create bioplastic that is biodegradable. It can work for packaging, and it can also work for the sanitary towel to ensure we get rid of most of the plastic. Currently, he's still in his prototyping phase. Next, please. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we were told about digital, going digital, using social media, you cannot escape from going social media. So my undergraduate students are teaching me which social media platform is most suitable. They have given me the analytics, and we are looking at creating a talk and awareness so we can deal with the issue of lack of awareness and stigma on menstruation. And we are calling it Know About Her, period. That way we keep it discreet enough, but we'll make this social media marketing viral to ensure we create awareness on issues around sanitary towels and on issues around bioplastic and microplastic pollution. Next, please. So what have we learned through this process? Number one, you cannot become an entrepreneur alone. You must collaborate with different disciplines and different groups of people to ensure that you synergize your skill sets, your knowledges, and your energies to solve big problems. I have been challenged in leadership. I have been challenged to communicate more effectively. And of course, resilience. As said by Priscilla, sometimes you try one way and it doesn't work. You have to keep iterating and moving on until you get what you're looking for. The second lesson is knowledge is shared and must be transferred. And the best way to learn something is to go through it experientially. The PhD students, the master students, the undergraduate students, and the TVET students who are helping us through this process are all appreciating the whole process of creating an idea to a project, and then we work around making it into business models. The third thing is about planning. Planning is essential to get to achieve your milestones. And you keep planning and iterating your ideas as you move on. And design thinking has been a very useful tool to achieve this. So to be innovative, you have to look at all possible avenues. You have to research, as was said by one of the students, and maybe on a good day, walk on the beach and get inspired, because sometimes you get challenged a lot and you feel like giving up. Now, also remember, to build this into a business, we have to figure out whether we want to build a business from scratch, partner with a manufacturer who's already making papers and sanitary towels, license the whole protocol to somebody who wants to convert it into entrepreneurship, or partner with them together and we build a business. We are yet to get there, and we'll discuss that when we get to that step. Next, please. So ladies and gentlemen, this is where we are right now. We are continuing to make our minimum viable products. We'll get it by end of June. We should be having a minimum viable product and go back to the market and ask, have we met your packaging needs? Have we met your sanitary towel needs? We also have to test it and ensure it meets the standards that are accepted of goods in the country. So in Kenya, we have Kenya Bureau of Standards, hence that's where we're going to testing. The master student has already tested that paper and we're improving it, but the sanitary towel is yet to go there. I have a large team of students, of engineers, of scholars, of PhD students that are working with me, and all this team has to collaborate to move research to commercialization. Next, please. So ladies and gentlemen, from whatever country you are, what is the problem? What ideas can you come up with? Is there a target market that cares to use whatever solution you have? Can you create a team? Do you have a roadmap to creating your first products? And can you scale this and make it into a business? Please give me your answers about problems that you have. And these problems can be anything. But the key important thing is there a market large enough that cares for it? I would really appreciate seeing some of the problems that you have that we can brainstorm and look through to creating ideas and innovation. Next, please. With that, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot work without funding. So we've applied for funding and we're supported by National Research Fund that is in Kenya, ECP that is supported by all these other funders. And we thank you for all the support that you give us. And we also are very grateful for all the synergies that we get from these entities. And with that, I take leave and I thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jackie, for this presentation. I think this answers most of the questions that a lot of us have when it comes to how do we optimize the opportunities we have at training institutions to ensure that we actually support the students to be more entrepreneurial. And I can speak on behalf of everyone that it's actually eye-opening to see the kind of projects that you're working on. Congratulations on that. Just working on social entrepreneurship is very rewarding, and creating opportunities for all of us to benefit from such work going forward that actually leads to sustainability. And that is the topic of the hour, and is something that we really need to focus on as the community. So I think from what I gathered from what you presented was about understanding the problem and coming up with a problem solving process, which also leads to how do you consult with the end user. You talked about going to consult with the students whether it makes sense or not, and then eventually talked about leveraging on government facilities like the Kiridi. You talked about the research centers that are offered by the government that are also open for TVET students and TVET entrepreneurs that are more relevant to our work. And you also talked about collaborating with different partners, whether it's for funding or whether it's just for ideation spaces. You talked about the key thing of collaboration. So I don't know what else the participants gathered. If you gathered something new from Jackie's intervention, please write what you actually understood there. And I saw a question that someone was asking whether we're going to share her presentation, and certainly we will after this. And basically what we can do as TVET practitioners is to take a leaf from that presentation and ask yourself, is there opportunity to actually collaborate with higher education? You talked about PhD students working with TVET students to actually come up with solutions. We offer technical skills, but that does not mean that we cannot collaborate. We don't need to work alone, but we can always work together with the higher education. We can always work together with different partners to ensure that we reach that goal of making our TVET trainees more entrepreneurial. So I'm just looking at at the time now, we are opening the Q&A session. And if you have any questions to any of our presenters, starting from Marcus from HP is here with us, you can answer any questions that you have regarding to that topic. Jackie talking about her work at the university. You can ask questions, and you can also ask Digital Mawuli questions on how to optimize digitalization. And just looking at the kind of questions that we have, maybe I'll start with you, Digital Mawuli. There's a question here, and the question is about how can we leverage, let me get that. How can entrepreneurship stay abreast of AI and 4IR and the challenges it poses in the industry? Would you have a solution for this? How are you going to answer this?
Yeah, so the answer to this question actually could be a PhD thesis because it's quite expensive. However, it always starts from the first step. Why don't you follow the most up-to-date resources on for the fourth industrial revolution? Let me even break it down to you. Maybe follow us at the work we do at Stream, Strategic Imperative. We try to do maybe some workshops like this, engagement with youth and small SMEs, small and medium scale enterprises, to be able to help them break down some of these complex technologies. Follow me, maybe I'll be doing a lot of talks about it. I have a lot of conversations around the topic. Follow also key AI, 4IR. You know, these are just terminologies that may confuse all of us, but I think follow me is the first step. Go on YouTube as well, find good videos on the topic you're looking for. I think that will also be helpful. Go on Twitter, look out for the best resources on AI, on even Instagram and even Facebook as well. I think this should be resourceful.
Okay, thank you so much. And for those who don't know 4IR, what it means, it actually means the fourth industrial revolution. And these are topics within robotics. It's what we call about the future of work, which is going to move away from routine work and most probably just focus on digitalization and technology being upticked. The other thing to note about this is that technology is going to change. If you think about AI was not as common 10 years ago as it is now. And even talking about how it's evolving and changing how we operate within different spaces, it's not going to change. So the key thing is to stay flexible. And this is part of the training that we do as TVET practitioners. We talked about flexibility in terms of the curriculum, flexibility in terms of adaptation to the changing economies, and also understanding how can we become more resilient to be able to work and to respond to different disruptions that you get. So staying flexibility, staying ahead of the curve. And this is why we have this HP training, to keep you ahead of the curve so that you can know, you have the knowledge and the skills to be able to tackle these problems that as they come. So thank you so much, Digital Mawuli, for that. And another question is maybe to Jackie, even with that interruption with sound, we still got a lot from you. So there's a question here. And if you have any questions, please keep sending through the Q&A. We still have time for questions. And Jackie, there's a big problem when it comes to funding. You have to attest. So someone says that my business idea seems to be so big, and still I have to make money for so many years, so I can kickstart the entrepreneurship. Then the other thing is the comment also, the fear of starting a business that does not rhyme with my profession. So those are two questions. So I'll ask you to take one question, and then we'll ask Digital Mawuli to take the second question about how do you navigate fear to start, especially since you're a business owner. How did you navigate the fear, low confidence, the risk, the inability to take that risk? How do you navigate that for you to start a business? But for Jackie, tell us, how are we going to work with this funding problem that is currently a big elephant in the room?
Thank you, Priscilla. That is an excellent question. We have done research around that question, and the many answers. So
okay, we can't hear you much. Sorry, just try to shift a bit so that we hear you.
Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yeah, yeah, just maintain that position.
Okay. Sorry about this. I think we need to innovate around this space. So what you're saying is funding is an excellent question. We have done research around that space, and we have found very different ideas that you can use to get your funding. So question number one, have you got at least a prototype? If the answer is yes, can you partner with somebody who already is in that space? For example, when I was talking about our project, I told you we might decide not to build a company. We might decide to go and become a partner to somebody who's already running a company, because this kind of partnership helps you to mitigate the funding gaps. Now, please don't think of starting from scratch when you can piggy bank on somebody else until you get your footing and step out. So there are many models. Find an alternative that will help you get there. You can also get funding through research organizations. Partner with somebody in university, they will apply for proposal funding. Partner with somebody in TVET, they will apply. Learn to work with groups. Entrepreneurship is not a solo journey, it's about collaborating. Thank you very much, Priscilla.
Thank you so much for bringing that aspect of collaboration, because even if we're training our trainees in the TVET setup, they need to put that idea they have into practice. And this funding is also a very important aspect to get to understand. So you will learn more from it from the HP Life funding course, and then you can explore what are the opportunities within your spaces when it comes to funding. For that. And now to you, Digital Mawuli, just tell us, how do we navigate this fear? We always fear entrepreneurship. It's a big hurdle.
First of all, I will not deny the existence of the fear. It's very legit, it's very valid. On my side, I've always believed one thing my whole life. I believe that in the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take. And sometimes look back at your life in the next 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 years. You don't want to regret some of the chances you could have taken today. You know what they say, that the best time to always sow a seed or plant a tree is today, you know. So with that in mind, that's always guided me in a lot of what we do. Overcoming fear comes with it. Immediately how it's worked. I always believe, you know, ignorance breeds fear, and complexity takes its definition from ignorance. So anytime something is very tough for you, it only means you know nothing about it. So as young people, as youth, one of the most strategic advantage we have is the ability to learn. So always aim to reduce ignorance in your life in whatever area it is. So I have reduced ignorance in my life for the last 10 years in, will I say, digital. So I come from a very unlikely background. If you're in Ghana, I did visual arts in high school. I think people in West Africa will relate. So I'm not supposed to be doing anything near technology nor business. But after school, when I graduated from first degree, I decided to write my own curriculum, for the lack of a better word, to become the kind of person I want to be. So one of the first sure ways of overcoming fear is knowledge. Knowledge always trumps fear. Then two, I think you also need to surround yourself with good networks, because there's a power of network that actually reforms your attitude. There's a part of attitude reformation that comes from the collective social of the kind of friends and the networks you put yourself in. I have friends who are entrepreneurs, and Ken Kesey, the bush I'm wearing, he's called Caveman. He does watches. I'm wearing his watch. He's a good friend. And we were high school mates. We sat on the same decks. We were in trouble together. We were just those bad guys in high school. So, and he's doing very well in business. So I realized if I have to really make it, he has to be closer as a friend and as a brother. So I go to him, he speaks to me. So be very intentional about your networks. You cannot be an entrepreneur and be networking with people who do not at least nurture the entrepreneurial mindset to the closest level. You need to move. So to me, the knowledge, and also the last bit for me is their propensity to take action. And I think our generation is the most blessed generation, because we have access to the most sophisticated technologies ever possible. You know, all these things we mentioned, AI, AR, if you mix all of them together, what it gives you, the sum is more than each part. So that ability to take action is also very important. That helps you overcome fear. I've tested things before my whole life. So I started my first business in high school. I was 16 years. I even won an award, like I was recognized for it back in high school. I failed. Went to uni, focused on my studies, as my parents said, tried to do first class, but came out with second upper, try businesses in school. That ability, if you're the type that you can take risk, calculated risk actually, head on and act on things as and when. So for example, after this webinar, you just don't go back home and say, okay, I learned a lot. Dr. Jackie inspired me. I heard from Priscilla or Digital Maoli. Jan gave me great inspiration. I heard from Frederick, he's the director of UNESCO. Marcus, no, act on whatever we said. So that ability to act in the most little way possible also largely reduces fear. So for me, it's just been these three things: knowledge, damaging my own ignorance, networks, building good alliances that are helpful to nurture my dreams and the goal at what we do at Stream Strategic Imperative. And lastly, testing things as they are. You know, there's a concept of being action-oriented. I think it's the knowledge gap. There's a book like that. It's called The Knowledge Gap. The Knowledge Gap. How people are not able to take action. And when you're not able to take action, you now suffer from the resulting effect of the fear that's compounded from what you didn't do. Because if you did it, you realize this works or this doesn't work. When I officially started my job as well, it was tough at the beginning. And as every entrepreneur will tell you, it's not easy. Yeah, but I think if you have the right networks and you plan well, you forecast well, and you are the type who takes action, nothing is insurmountable. So these are the three ways I've been able to help myself.
Absolutely. I cannot even add anything to that. It's about facing that fear and doing that thing that you always believe is going to offer a solution and value to your community. So just to put a little more highlight on your Marcus, I know HP has had various topics, as we saw for entrepreneurship. But I'm just wondering, based on the kind of work that you've been doing and the experience, what kind of which course have you actually seen has solved many problems that affect a lot of entrepreneurs, and they all want to get a solution to that particular course? Which one would you say it is?
I really can't do that. So thanks for this question, but this would be totally unfair, because the amazing thing with what we observe in the usage is that there is no one size fits all. It's really about hey, what is the specific need in that very moment? And that's exactly where we keep this modular approach, so that people can pick and choose what is relevant for them and what fits in their situation. So therefore, sorry, I'm simply pushing back on that question.
Thank you for that. I was actually waiting to see if you have a preference, but it's good that you already said it depends on the context that you're in and the kind of solutions that you want to solve. Then the course is there for you to be able to answer to that. So I'm just looking at more questions. If you have any more questions, we have 5 minutes for questions. Okay, 3 or so minutes for questions. And I just like to give feedback on what I'm looking at the chats. So we have Mpofana, who has actually pointed out what Henry Ford said, and said that those who stopped marketing to save money are like those who stopped the clock to save time. And I cannot agree more to that. That's a very good reminder of that. And you also continued to say that there's a study that was done in 2015 and 2016 that found that 93% of Africans have access to cell phone services, with only 63% having access to piped water and drainage system. So this further echoes the point that Digital Maoli had on going mobile. So the world is really going mobile. If there's more access to internet and cell phone service more than water, so you actually see that the digital world is going to really take us by storm, and there's no way to navigate. So I see there's another question that came for you, Maoli, and it just talks about, it's just, I think, reiterating on that point on AI, and the question is, do you have any reservations around AI and how it could potentially make some elements of marketing redundant? Currently, ChatGPT is already designing marketing plans and designing tools and logos, etc. What is your take on that?
I'm excited at this question because the prospect of change introduces the concept of entrepreneurship and innovation all the more, because there's only opportunities in change. And as entrepreneurs, you just want to look at trends to be able to anticipate, launch your venture, and then make the most of the opportunity. When it comes to AI, I hold a very open yet ethical view. I believe technology in itself is only as good as the people in it. So if you have bad people in technology, the technology will be bad. AI has good prospects, yet it has also dystopian prospects based on the people programming it. So I feel it's so much a world of ethics than just even technology. I'm very upbeat about the power of AI. I'm not reserved when it comes to what AI is doing, because if you study what happened, this question could be similar to somebody asking you that, oh, Henry Ford is bringing the automobile. It means we are not going to use horses anymore. Do you have any reservations about horses being changed? You know, it just shows you that there's change happening, and there's so much AI will disrupt even beyond the marketing processes. AI could even eat up marketing itself, just like the way apps have destroyed some basic functions we thought were human functions. Now we realize they are actually mundane, they are for machines. You know, I think it's time always to rethink what being a human is. Personally, as I said early on, when it comes to AI, I don't have any strong, I believe people who even understand AI will be able to leverage, young people actually who understand AI now will be able to leverage it to use, to make the most of it. So for me, reservations, no. And for it, disrupting marketing, absolutely. Everything was disrupted to get us to where we are. ATM machines disrupted the teller system at a mass scale. Now, teller services are now privileged services. You pay to get a human being talk to you, you know. Yeah. And now even beyond the ATM machines, now apps are doing it. I have an app that is almost better than even an ATM. I don't even need to go to an ATM anymore. I have an app on my phone that does that. So when it comes to AI, the opportunities are immense. I think it dawns on us to a lot of times damage our ignorance about it as entrepreneurs to even know the possibilities that we can plug our product or service offerings in. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. That opportunities are immense. I was actually looking at YouTube the other day, and we have various videos of people just talking about how to leverage AI to make life easy. They're even saying you can actually write a book in 30 minutes. Can you believe? So I don't know how that content is going to look like, but this just brings in that aspect of a limitless advantage that we have when it comes to creativity and innovation. So I'm going to just take the opportunity to thank everyone who participated on today's webinar. I see there's so many questions around AI and funding, and I think this is something we can take up in the next webinar, just to focus on those two, funding and AI, and basically just to get more involved in this presentation and also try to answer as many questions as possible. So allow me to thank the team that was here, the guest speakers from Digital Mawuli, Dr. Jackie Kisato and Marcos from HP Life, for giving us this opportunity to hear your experiences and to learn more of something that we probably had not learned before. And for our participants, for this opportunity to join us, we have had a good number of participants along, and the engagement has been fantastic. So I'd like to thank you so much for engaging with us, talking to us, even if we are not seeing your faces, but we can actually see that you're here with us and this topic is important for you. Thank you so much. And thank you to our team at UNESCO-UNEVOC, starting with the head of office, Friedrich Hübler, and also our colleagues who participated actively in making this webinar successful. As we part ways, I would like to share a video, and this is a video that I was talking about how a TVET institution can leverage the kind of practical guide that we have to make their institutions more entrepreneurial. So this is a video we're going to share as we part ways. And just for an update, we're going to share all these PowerPoints that we've presented today, plus the recording, so that you can access it as you go along with the implementation of these projects. And most importantly, the links that we've been able to share about all the publications and the opportunities we have for learning from our work. Just take time to explore and see what is happening, and feel free to follow us on social media. We have a Twitter and we have a LinkedIn page that we actively inform on different aspects and webinars that we have planned. So thank you so much. And for everyone, you can leave by telling us goodbye from your local language in the chat page, but don't leave before you see this video that we have. It's a short video that we're going to learn. Thank you everyone for this opportunity, and have a good evening.
Entrepreneurial learning is the basis for the creative, innovative, and practical ideas we need to succeed and thrive in the 21st century. To help technical and vocational education and training, in short, TVET, institutions form the entrepreneurial mindset and values needed to improve people's lives and promote inclusive and sustainable societies and economies. UNESCO-UNEVOC has developed a guide to support leaders, managers and teachers of TVET institutions to integrate and mainstream entrepreneurial learning in their TVET programs and institutions. The guide has 3 parts: an introduction to entrepreneurial learning and the basic concepts, a self-assessment tool for TVET institutions, initiating and strengthening entrepreneurial learning in TVET, the Entrepreneurial Learning Institution Canvas ELIC. Inspired by the business model Canvas, the ELIC is a conceptual tool for strengthening entrepreneurial learning at the institutional level. It demonstrates how all parts of a TVET institution can work together to create an entrepreneurial learning culture. How can ELIC be used? The ELIC consists of 12 steps. These 12 steps focus on different factors that you need to consider when integrating entrepreneurial learning in your institution, from value proposition to key activities and assessment. Typically, the elements are worked through sequentially from 1 through 12. Although you can also use ELIC flexibly and pick any element of particular interest. The 12 steps include identifying your value proposition, defining and understanding your target audience, determining which entrepreneurial competencies are important for your target group, integrating entrepreneurial learning into curricula, developing specific activities to nurture an entrepreneurial mindset, outlining the resources needed for entrepreneurial learning to flourish, building your core team, partnering with key stakeholders, choosing a modern assessment method, using communication channels to reach your target group, developing organizational structures to implement entrepreneurial learning, as well as measuring the impact of your program. Each step follows a clear structure of questions, challenges, activities, and some best practice cases, with worksheets to reinforce your understanding along the way. These can help you answer the key questions linked to each of the 12 steps. As you discuss the questions and complete the activities presented in each step, you are encouraged to write your input on sticky notes or use markers so that you can reflect them on a wall or on a flip chart. The flip chart also shows how the 12 steps are connected and create a complete picture about entrepreneurial learning in your institution. Completing the tasks in the ELIC as a team helps to identify problems and opportunities that your institution can further work on. In addition, the ELIC enables your institution design and put in place projects that help validate or refute your key assumptions about entrepreneurial learning in your institution. One other key success factor is to network and exchange ideas with other educational institutions and entrepreneurial stakeholders in your own country and internationally. Find out more about ELIC at univoc.unesco.org or visit the Entrepreneurial Learning for TVET Institutions online guide.
Thank you so much for sitting in to listen. And I'd ask the people who have been talking to us today, I can see them on the screen, to just open your mic and tell us goodbye and thank you from your local language. So I will start. Kwaheri and asante.
Kwaheri and asante again.
Yan?
Miadogo.
Danke, Amsago.
Auf Wiedersehen und danke.
Lenny?
Terima kasih dan selamat bertemu kembali.
You're muted, Priscilla.
Talking too much. I'm saying thank you for having us this for the last 2 hours. It's been lovely and it's been great. So goodbye and thank you so much. Have a good evening.
to